Since Monday, people in British Columbia, which is the very left province in Canada, are required to present a vaccination passport for most non-essential venues. You can't get into a restaurant without a passport. You can't get a cup of coffee without the passport. There's a long list of organizations considered non-essential that have been told that if people want to participate in the life of that organization, they need that passport. What's particularly interesting about this mandate is that it excludes the churches. And I say it's interesting because until a few months ago, for about a year, the churches were considered the super spreader events. We were forbidden from gathering together in worship of our God because according to the press, we were the source of the spread of COVID. The worst thing you could do is to actually come to church and be together with other believers. So back then, a chief medical officer of the province, a woman by the name of Bonnie Henry, told us that we could not meet. We had a choice back then, standing at the crossroads, to decide whether we would actually follow the prescription that was in the biblical text for what God's people are supposed to do. Follow the prescription of a chief doctor. Of course, since we wanted to fit with the crowd, we made a decision, most churches at least did, that they would shut down. But then, in that self-imposed exile, people noticed that incongruity between the mandate to shut down the churches and keep other venues open. You could go to these big stores and rub shoulders with hundreds of people. Go to places where you could eat and drink without too many restrictions, but you couldn't come into a sanctuary with more than 10 people. And then the only thing you could do, actually, if you were there, you could be there for what they called personal prayer and contemplation. So when folks got onto it and they discovered that incongruity, a few of our brave leaders, the kind of people who have dared to speak truth to power, have written open letters and made videos addressed to our chief medical officer. And if you read the letters and you listened to the videos, there was a common chorus, a cry, "Not fair, not fair." The pastors and leaders of churches have urged Bonnie Henry to revoke that prohibition issued against churches because it wasn't fair in view of the other venues being open. The letters insisted that we didn't want to be an exception. We didn't want to stand out. We wouldn't do that. We just wanted to be treated like everybody else. We just wanted to be like everyone else. Otherwise, it was not fair. Back then, I found the request rather odd because, the last time God's people have asked to be like the people around them, being like everybody else, that didn't work out all that well for us. That history has turned out to be a sort of a sordid story. But the request was even more troubling because it clashed with those years, decades of sermons where we have pontificated that the Church of Jesus Christ is unlike any organism or organization on the planet. We told our people that as much as we were in the world, we were not of the world. What defined the life of the church was not the ideology of the world that was spinning on an axis against God. It was defined by the Word of God. But here, when push came to shove, when we had a choice, we have decided, instead of living by every word that comes from the mouth of God, we have instead decided to live by the words that come from the flatlining lips of a woman who doesn't even know how to spell God. But now they have turned the tables on us. You notice that now all these organizations out there that we wanted to be like have to check your vaccination passport before they let you in. But the churches are exempt. So come out wherever you are. You know, we need these valiant leaders, these courageous men and women of the church to come out now and demand that we be treated alike. I hope that we're going to have just a tsunami of videos that will come out and demand that that exception that was made for the church was revoked, because we want to be treated like everybody else. We may as well be consistent with the choices we have made. But then, of course, there's another option. Why it is that our chief medical doctor has decided to allow people who are unvaccinated to mix with the vaccinated in churches. I mean, that is supposed to be the lethal recipe, the deadly concoction that is going to bring a disaster on people. So maybe the reason why we have been left off the list is because she actually wants us dead. But then if that's the case, maybe this is a prophetic word for the church. Because after all, why would you try to keep a church that is dead alive?